International Trade Focus is brought to you by GOIL and Agricultural Development Bank.
Coming up on International Trade Focus, we shall bring you highlights of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023.
Research shows that the USA is one of Ghana's fastest growing export markets. During the year 2021, Ghana's exports to the USA amounted to approximately $1.56 billion. Undoubtedly, enhancing US-Ghana trade relations is crucial to cultivate even more robust and mutually beneficial trade ties. US-Ghana Business Expo 2023 is set to be a pivotal event emphasizing the importance of the strong economic ties between the two nations. With Ghana being a crucial trading partner for the United States and both countries benefiting from the robust exchange of goods, the Expo serves as a platform to enhance this relationship further. Through the Expo, industry leaders will explore avenues to expand their trade horizons, paving the way for the growth of sectors such as automobiles, machinery, minerals, oil, and cocoa. Tune in for exclusive insights and highlights of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023 on this week's episode of International Trade Focus. Now, the event was all about harnessing the power of US-Ghana trade relations for mutual growth and prosperity. My name is Anastio and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by Gold Good Energy, ADB, Truly Agric and more, Public Elegance and Pediasi Valley Resort. Just tuned in, you're watching International Trade Focus. Now, we're bringing you highlights of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023, showcasing the dynamic discussions, key moments and opportunities that emerged from this significant event. Stay tuned for an insightful look into the world of US-Ghana trade relations and the exciting prospects it holds. Stay connected for a first-hand look at the dynamic discussions, strategic partnerships, and exciting opportunities that emerged from this significant event.
It is my utmost pleasure and excitement to welcome you all to the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023, themed Leveraging US-Ghana Relations for Growth and Prosperity. This event marks a significant milestone in strengthening trade ties between our two countries and fostering economic development for Ghana and the United States. Today, we gather with purpose and optimism, with over 40 exhibitors showcasing their products and services, representing the entrepreneurial spirit of both Ghana and the United States. This expo exemplifies the mutual desire for meaningful partnerships and a new avenues for growth and investment. As we navigate global challenges and opportunities, this expo serves as a platform to leverage our strengths and foster robust economic partnerships. Let us forge connections that promote trade, investment, technology transfer, skills development, and knowledge sharing for our mutual growth.
I'm pleased to report that your efforts build on a strong foundation of U.S. business presence here in Ghana. U.S. companies have been at the forefront of development of many of Ghana's key sectors, from telecommunications to mining to industry to food processing and packaging. And actually, Mona kind of embodies some of what I want to talk about that. Some of that is American companies just coming to Ghana. A lot of it is the diaspora of people who know and understand Ghana or are interested in Ghana because of their own roots in this part of the world. And American officials have come through here and talked about the importance of the diaspora And I didn't fully understand it when I first arrived, if I'm honest. But I have come over the year and few months that I've been here to really appreciate what that means. What it means that Americans who understand and appreciate and feel some heritage in Africa want to do business here. What it means that Ghanaians who have studied in the United States, and Ghana is the second largest sender of students to the United States in sub-Saharan Africa. It's quite something given Ghana's size. What that means for the relationship, for our understanding, and for the ease of doing business between the two of us. And that's why I'm particularly pleased to welcome the Global Diversity, GDEI trade delegation. Government officials talk in acronyms, which represents and has sort of large organizations representing stakeholders from those communities, the African Americans, the LGBT community, Native Americans, women-owned businesses in particular. And I think that's a great thing. And making money together is one of the best ways to build strong bonds, I think. So I want to salute the pioneers and long-standing veterans on the market in Ghana. They, along with the incredibly resilient Ghanaian private sector, have navigated through a difficult macroeconomic environment during the past year. I think we're sitting here together, but we have to acknowledge that times have been very tough. And their role will be critical to Ghana's resumed growth and economic recovery. And again, having an American trade delegation here, I think, is another symbol of our confidence in that renewed growth. This Business Expo and the delegation's visit builds on momentum from Vice President Harris's historic trip to Ghana, during which she supported Ghana's creative industry, the digital sector, and women entrepreneurs. And again, all things that are the focus of this meeting today and of the delegation. It comes just a few weeks after Houston's mayor led a business delegation to Ghana, and the Houston area alone accounts for $300 million in annual bilateral trade with Ghana. Before him, there was a steady stream of business interest from other American cities and states, Minnesota cities, lot of various delegations. We also hosted a partnership opportunity delegation, which was focused on clean energy and new technologies, building partnerships not just with businesses, but with academic institutions, so different kinds of partnerships. And in the past few months, we've seen landmark U.S.-Ghanaian business-to-business projects, such as Zero Knox and Jospong's efforts to convert 1,000 refuse trucks in Ghana from gas to electric engines, one of the largest projects of its kind in the world. American ICT companies also continue to play an integral part in the economy. For example, NVIDIA is working to incubate Ghana's IT developers, and Google is supporting African researchers to develop artificial intelligence solutions to address African challenges right here in Ghana. We talked about predicting the weather to preventing floods and improving crop production through artificial intelligence. I thought it was for writing essays, but it has all kinds of very exciting technical and development applications, and we're excited about what Google's doing for that. We already have concrete examples of how the American diaspora-led companies can succeed in Ghana. For example, Overland Tanberg and its local partner TechGulf launched a major call center in Ghana in December, and that was exciting because it employs 200 young college graduates and soon to be hundreds more, we expect. We're seeing more and more of Ghanaian entrepreneurs who, after spending decades in the United States, former president of the AmCham, Joe Mensa, is poster child for that, return to Ghana to either start new businesses or lead other businesses. EPAC Flexibles, a food packaging company, recently launched in Ghana and is poised to transform the food packaging industry and help local small and medium-sized enterprises export more of the food they produce. They're just a few examples that I'll give you today, and we'll see some more at the fair, I think, of the ways that American companies succeed and contribute to this market. Over the next 2 days, we have a dynamic agenda for you with panel discussions, business-to-business meetings, and trade pavilion where more connections can be made. And I can kind of feel the networking energy crackling in the room. Let me please assure all of you, and actually Joe put me up against a wall last night and said that the companies are concerned about visa backlog. That was an appropriate punctuation for that comment. I want to assure everybody that we are working hard on it. I have every officer in the embassy who is trained to be able to work on visas on the visa line, and they're working Saturdays. It's important to doing business. It's important to the United States being welcoming. We hear you, and we're working on it. But that said, the embassy stands ready to help U.S. and Ghanaian companies build on our already strong trade and investment partnerships to launch new cooperative projects and partnerships.
We so appreciate the efforts that the Ghanaian government has made to welcome hundreds of thousands of Black Americans and U.S. businesses. You extend your welcome through campaigns like the Year of Return, diaspora business roadshows to the U.S., and the numerous people-to-people initiatives, visits, and exchanges among our chambers of commerce, among state and city government officials, and among our business communities. Another special thanks to the AmCham for your vision and your unwavering focus as exemplified by today's expo. I so can always count on you to showcase the tremendously positive role of U.S. companies in Ghana and the vast potential for even deeper partnerships between American and Ghanaian businesses. Convenings like these are concrete evidence of the Biden-Harris administration's commitment to promoting constructive fora, essential conversations. These conversations celebrate the long-standing ties between our people, and they also strengthen trade and investment between our countries. Last but not least, thank you to our very own Ambassador Palmer and our Embassy Accra colleagues for their support of this expo and of our Global Diversity Export Initiative trade mission. It's no understatement to say that this never would have happened without your leadership. So I am so pleased to return to Ghana, a beautiful country that I've had the good fortune of visiting on 2 prior occasions during my career. While this is my 3rd time in Accra, it's my first time in my current role as Undersecretary of Commerce. In this role, I am fortunate beyond words to be leading a delegation of diverse U.S. companies and organizations representing a wide array of sectors. The companies on this GDEI trade mission range from information and communications technology, trade services, cybersecurity, energy, automotives, consumer goods. All of these sectors present great potential for commercial cooperation between our countries. Now, in addition to the companies, our delegation also includes several of the leading African American-led business chambers of commerce in the U.S., as well as the Organization of Women in International Trade and the National Center for American Indian Enterprise Development. Their participation underscores the U.S. Department of Commerce's commitment to create a more equitable and inclusive economy by helping businesses that are in historically underserved communities prosper through increased international trade. We're also joined by our GDEI trade mission sponsors, the National Black Chamber of Commerce, the Black and Global Business Network, ChipLab, and NAPAC Capacity Development Initiatives. Thank you so very much for your vote of confidence in our GDEI trade mission. Our mission is also supported by Prosper Africa, which is a whole of U.S. government. It encompasses 17 different government agencies, including those of the Departments of State and Commerce. Prosper Africa's goal is to advance two-way trade and investment between the United States and Africa, which is exactly the reason that all of us are here today. So let me share a few words about the guiding principles of our GDEI trade mission. At the U.S.-Africa Leaders Summit and the U.S.-Africa Business Forum, which was held last December, the Biden-Harris administration announced a renewed commitment to partnerships among the United States and countries, institutions, and people. To state the obvious, there is enormous potential for increased commercial cooperation. Why? Africa has one of the world's fastest growing populations, as well as the potential to be the largest burgeoning free trade area. Add to that on people-to-people and diaspora ties between the United States and the nations of Africa. So not surprisingly, U.S. companies see and are incredibly eager to seize upon this opportunity. And to give you a sense of the strength of U.S. business interests, this particular trade mission and in exploring opportunities in Africa, I'll share some inside information, despite my roots at the Securities and Exchange Commission. Commerce initially started recruiting and inviting applications from potential participants last December. We knew that we had space for around 20 folks. In an instant, we had a pool of almost 200 companies vying to be on this trade mission. So that should give all of the Ghanaian companies here a sense of just how special the folks, the U.S. companies that are on this trade mission truly are. The export skills building resources available to Ghanaian MSMEs through Ghana Export Promotion Authority's website are an excellent illustration of these efforts to better enable companies to approach foreign markets, whether in Africa or beyond. And I certainly hope that these Ghanaian MSMEs will include in their beyond the United States. At the Department of Commerce, equity underpins everything that we do, including this trade mission. We established a dedicated program called the Global Diversity Equity Export Initiative. Like you, Ambassador, I get tripped up on, so I'll use the acronym GDEI. And its goal is to drive our support of businesses from historically underserved communities. And today's trade mission proudly comes to Accra under the GDEI banner. Equity isn't just a fair policy, it also makes solid economic sense. Between 1995 and 2001 in the US, small businesses accounted for nearly 63% of new jobs that were created. That amounts to over 17 million jobs, which is equivalent to about half of Ghana's population, to give you a sense of just how large it is. Over the last decade, minority-owned businesses created almost 5 million jobs and accounted for over half of the new businesses formed in the United States. Among these businesses are those led by members of the African diaspora, and that's true for some of the businesses that are on this GDEI mission. I give a special shout out to the members of our trade mission who are proudly part of the Ghanaian diaspora. And these close familial, social, and economic connections that these individuals and businesses possess can help build even greater connections to countries across the continent, including, of course, here in Ghana. Today, more than 100 U.S. companies and brands are currently invested in or have a local presence in Ghana. And these companies are leaders in telecom, mining, financial services, oil and gas, artificial intelligence research, hospitality, food processing, and education. This is a testament to the breadth of the Ghanaian economy. And these U.S. companies provide critical infrastructure and export earnings in Ghana, along with a large amount for Ghanaian citizens. Zooming out, emerging from the pandemic, total U.S.-Ghana trade has been on an upward trajectory. As our trade and investment relationship matures and continues to grow, we look forward to broadening even further the types of goods and services that we exchange between our nations. In the short time, just about 18 months that I've served as Undersecretary, I've been fortunate to witness some wonderful progress in our trade and investment relationship. Last October, I had the privilege of welcoming Ghana's largest cocoa processor, Niche Cocoa, to the United States at the ribbon-cutting ceremony of Niche Cocoa's first processing facility in our country in a small town in Wisconsin. It was such a point of pride to see how the world was connected, that a Ghanaian country, through the assistance of the Department of Commerce's Foreign Commercial Service, was able to find the right location for themselves in the heart of Wisconsin's dairy country. I hope that the exhibitors at today's Business Expo, including the delegates from the Trade Mission, are going to have conversations and build the relationships that ultimately lead them to exciting moments like Niche Coco's ribbon-cutting ceremony. Now, we have to be honest, as discussions during this week's expo will reflect, we have to be as clear-eyed and open about the challenges as we are bullish about the opportunities. We have to strive together to clearly identify inhibiting factors that are holding our businesses back from delivering greater trade and investment, and then work together, arm in arm, to reduce or eliminate these barriers. And we know that we have partners in the Department of Commerce and in AmCham Ghana. Given the variety of crises occurring that can stifle economic activity, it's important to ensure that business environments continue to foster entrepreneurship, innovation, investment, and trade. And so I look forward to my discussions this week with my counterparts in the government in Ghana and also the private sector on how we can best work together on our shared objectives, improving the business environment and facilitating increased trade and investment. So congratulations again to the government of Ghana and AmCham Ghana on the launch of this expo.
You're watching International Trade Focus. There's more highlights of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023 after this break. Don't go away. A warm welcome back. You're watching International Trade Focus. Stay tuned as we bring you interviews with key industry players, government officials and entrepreneurs who shared their thoughts on the pivotal role that the Ghana-US trade relations plays in driving economic development.
Your Excellencies, the theme for this expo, leveraging US-Ghana trade relations for growth and prosperity, resonates with our shared commitment to fostering strong bilateral ties between the US and Ghana. It's not a contested fact. The United States of America is the most lucrative consumer market globally, and to whose market countries across the globe, including Ghana, would like to export more of their products. For us in Ghana, this must be accomplished through increased investment from the US by harnessing considerable and largely untapped US market. Opportunities offered under the African Growth and Opportunity Act, AGOA, and the Prosper Africa Initiative of the US government. A little statistics, not particularly boring. The trade between our two countries is estimated at about $3.7 billion, with a favorable balance for Ghana of about $2.7 billion. The latest set of reliable data suggests that the US is Ghana's fastest growing export market, with a growth rate of about 132% from 2020 to 2021. Approximately 11% of our exports go to the U.S., which means that just over 1 in each $10 and externally by Ghana comes from the United States of America. About 100,000 U.S. citizens visit Ghana each year. Bottom line is that when it comes to trade, the U.S.-Ghana relationship is very significant. In terms of sheer U.S. dollars, well, the number might not be that significant in relation to the U.S. But I was reminded this morning that for the trade disparity, indeed, every disparity else between us is simply because we were born only about 66 years ago, when the United States has been alive and kicking. I think by a calculation I have, for about 247 years, the relationship in terms of trade and industry between the two countries to facilitate the exploitation of this investment potential from the United States. The government of Ghana, through its trade and economic development policies, has enhanced its support for the private sector, which through the policies will enhance the private sector, as I just indicated, by their sheer size and their contribution are the engine of growth of our economy, both domestically and in terms of foreign earnings. And this is all to ensure increased production and export capacity enhancement, particularly in the manufacturing sector. In this context, a notable focus has been placed on opportunities for export into the United States, markets in areas such as horticulture, textiles, and garments products. And here, I'm glad to state that a particular company, Dignity DTRT Apparel Company, but is the largest and the most iconic example in Ghana of a U.S. Ghanaian investment and management partnership in the apparel manufacturing for export into the United States. The company, I'm told, employs as many as about 5,000 young citizens of Ghana, predominantly women, in its factories, and with the potential to expand to about 15,000 jobs. Now, much of the products of this company is exported to the United States. But as I understand it, there is a great demand for more of the company's products. A significant multiples of this magnificent partnership would undoubtedly boost mutually beneficial trade and investment outcomes in the apparel industry. The government of Ghana has, in collaboration with the industry aspect, formulated a garment and textiles manufacturing policy and the incentive framework to attract and facilitate targeted investment into the industry. After extensive consultations with stakeholders, the process has concluded. And my ministry would formally outdoor this policy in the next couple of months. This morning, just before we came in, I had the opportunity to engage and fruitful bilateral talks with the Undersecretary and her team. We reviewed our bilateral relations. We reiterated the need to renew AGOA post-2025. We shared views on our business climate, including the automotive industry. We also agreed to build the commercial linkages between the United States-owned businesses and the African market, with Ghana at the center of this linkage. The authorization of the African Continental Free Trade Area, and particularly the siting of its headquarters in Accra, has added further fillip to the investment potential of Ghana. Implementation of AFTA will lead to the removal of tariff and other trade restrictions across member countries. It will address some of the non-tariff barriers that have restricted trade between member states of the African Union, and to enhance industrial production in different countries within Africa. AFTA ensures free movement of goods and services between member states. This would enable businesses in African countries to source finished products and to add value to raw materials across African countries more sustainably and competitively. AFTA presents a timely opportunity for African countries to harmonize their trade policies and trade more effectively with each other. The African automotive sector continues to grow in respect of investment and product demand, which has affected opportunities for investment and technology partnerships, especially in vehicle parts and components manufacturing. The Ghana Automotive Development Program is on course to make Ghana a leading automotive industry hub in West Africa. Investment response to the government's automotive industry development policy has happily been encouragingly high. In 2022, Nation commissioned the largest automotive assembly plant in Ghana. This has been followed rapidly by about 6 more leading manufacturers assembling the following vehicles in Ghana: Tanker, Volkswagen, Toyota, Suzuki, Nissan, Peugeot, Hyundai, Sinotruk, and Kia. This year, Rana Motors commissioned a state-of-the-art assembly plant to produce a range of Kia vehicles. This plant, which is currently the largest in the country, incorporates several innovative and sustainable features of Ghana U.S. Business Expo to further strengthen the already existing and formidable trade and bilateral relations between Ghana and the U.S. business communities.
Yes, so my name is Simon Maji, and I'm the head of the Secretariat, the Executive Secretary or the Executive Director for the American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana. The American Chamber of Commerce in Ghana is an affiliate of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce is the world's oldest trade association with over 3 million members and 117 affiliates around the world. Yeah.
Right, so we just witnessed an exciting, I would say, launch of the Ghana-US Business Expo 2023. What was the planning phase like? Looking at how successful the first day even has been, I wanted to find out how the planning process was like.
Well, I mean, like all expos, it has to go through a planning phase. And so it's always difficult planning these things, but we are committed to it. We are committed to the US-Ghana trade relations. So we went through the planning process, and, you know, to God be the glory, and to all the attendees, it's been successful so far. Our goal here is for businesses to really engage with each other, the US, Ghanaian businesses, working to create prosperity and growth for all of us.
I think you touched on it briefly, but for emphasis, what would you say the relevance of some of these expos are to Ghana-US international trade relations?
Well, let's first and foremost backtrack and look at it. So trade between Ghana and the US is valued at $3.7 billion, right? $2.7 billion is in favor of Ghana, and $1 billion is in favor of the US. There are about 100,000 Americans who travel to Ghana annually, every year. They come here. US investment in 2021 in Ghana, FDI, what they call the foreign direct investment, was in the region of 421 million. So clearly, we cannot overemphasize or underemphasize the importance of having trade shows, because this is where connections are made. This is where businesses or new ideas are birthed. This is where people who are looking for opportunity get to meet with others that can help them to build those opportunities. So these shows are important. Now we have the companies, they've come from the US. They are looking for good Ghanaian partners to work with. It's opportunity for Ghanaian businesses to open their doors to dealing in new products, to dealing in new goods. If you were at the opening session, you saw that Budget Rent a Car just commenced operations again in Ghana. These are exciting times for all of us. And this is a tangible outcome of such expos. And this is what we look forward to. So we want to see more business. Businesses make the world go round. It's very critical, it's very important for us. And so we need to work together.
Finally, looking at the outcome of this Expo 2023, what would you say the future holds for Ghana-US international trade?
Well, I think the US-Ghana...
As far as the Expo is concerned.
Yeah, I think the US-Ghana trade relations is solid. It's been running for many, many, many years. Ghanaians and Americans trade across. And so the future is always bright for that kind of relationship. Ghana is very friendly to the US. US is very friendly to Ghana. So we think that business will also take advantage of this friendly nature or friendliness of both countries working together to really advance commercial interests. After all, at the end of the day, what people want is to prosper. What people want is to have a good life. How else are you going to do that without having an economic activity? This is part of the economic activity. Trading between both countries is important. And as trade emerges, so would investment follow, because people will trade first and then they go ahead to invest their money or their capital in the country. So that is how it works. The whole world revolves around trade. Everything else that happens around the world is about trade. So it's important that we also understand that dynamics and really encourage our businesses, our Ghanaian businesses, to work more with these businesses that are coming. They are going to stand the benefit of having not just superior products, it will be at affordable prices. They're also going to transfer technology to them. They're going to transfer skills to them. They'll give them good corporate practices, and they'll be able to work with a brand that will also help these Ghanaian businesses to advance their interests and their cause.
So are we to expect more expos of this nature in the future?
Absolutely, absolutely. So as far as Ghana and the US are going to have commercial relations, you should expect more of this interaction, more of these expos.
My name is Peter Oseidia is the name, and the organization is called All Star Insurance Brokers. What we do is that we help both individuals and corporate entities with making choices for coverage for insurance. So, for instance, if you are a car owner and you need car insurance, if you walk into the offices of any company, whatever it is they give you, you are paying for that. If you come to All Star, we will go to as many insurance companies as we want, depending on the risk that we are dealing with, and we'll get premium quotes from every one of them. And you will see that there's a big difference between one broker and one insurance company and the other for the same risk. Okay, so coming to All-Star Insurance Company will save you a lot of money in the long run. For big companies, their risks are a little bit more complicated, and some of them have to get a little bit of analysis done and risk mitigating what they call a measures put in before you even go to an insurance company. After that, we'll still go to 4 or 5 insurance companies and get them premiums, and you'll see that from one company to the next, you could have a 50% difference in insurance premiums. So coming to brokers is always the thing to do. The good thing about all of this is that no client coming to us has to pay us a penny. Okay? The insurance companies, after we decide we want to place the business with them, take us as bringing them the business, and so they give us commissions for doing that. Because they're looking for business, we come and say, hey, here is business for you. They pay us for it. And therefore, you don't have to worry about cost when you come to us. We have been a member of this American Chamber of Commerce organization for a very long time, since our beginning. I was trained in America, as I said this morning during the development, and I believe in American everything American. And so AmCham, being a collaborating institution, works with the U.S. government, with all kinds of things. When we get into exhibitions like this, it gets to expose the ingenuity of American business. And so for those who are not aware of how Americans do business, there's a good way to come and learn how America does business. I believe in it because, like I said, I stayed in America for 26 years, worked in industry there and all that before I came back. But most of us are not used to that. So this kind of gathering or exposure or expo allows people to see how American businesses are at work in our environment, in our own country. It exposes people to American business and the way American business works.
McDan Shipping is part of McDan Group of companies. We've been in existence over 20 years, and basically we are into shipping, imports and exports. We do warehousing as well. We took part in this expo in order to interact with the local companies in Ghana and those who have affiliation in the US. So we hope to get more businesses from this expo. I believe in promoting local businesses because our boss or our company is fully owned by a Ghanaian. And aside all this, we have presence in a lot of countries all over the world. So I believe it's a win-win for all of us.
Hi, my name is Shaquana Teasley. Everyone calls me Shaq. I am the CEO and founder of Agate Solutions. We specialize in international trade consulting, education, and mentoring. We have over 500 students globally that we make sure understand international trade and consulting and prepare them for workforce development and entrepreneurship. So everyone is very familiar with the Intercontinental Agreement so that our countries within the continent of Africa can do better business with each other. In addition to that, AGOA is going to be expiring in 2025, which is extremely important. At the exhibits here, a lot of the companies are prepared to do business globally, but they are also supporting international trade initiatives to ensure that Ghana specifically has the opportunity to be in business with African Americans and America overall, where we can now pour back into the economy and help our motherland. So from the business climate, we've had many people come and talk to us about the economy, about agricultural goods, and where there needs to be growth and expansion. And I feel like I'm getting that from a very high level, more so from government officials, but I want to hear it from the people. So that's one thing. And then just to share from a personal experience, this is my first time coming back to the continent, and it has been extremely emotional. Seeing and hearing stories of my ancestry where we don't always get that level of education. So I just wanted to share that.
And there you have it, highlights and excerpts of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023. We believe this episode has been insightful. News and events comes up shortly after this break. Don't go away. Thank you for joining us on today's episode. We'll be right back next week with the second part of the US-Ghana Business Expo 2023, where we'll continue to delve into the exciting world of trade between these two nations. Make sure you mark your calendars and join us for another insightful session. My name is Anna Spio, and this is International Trade Focus. International Trade Focus is brought to you by Goil, Good Energy, ADB, Truly, Agric, and more. Public Elegance and Podiasi Resort. Bye-bye.